The Gospel of St. Mark is the shortest of the four Gospels, and we're in the year of Mark this year. Mark only tells two resurrection stories. So in the year that we celebrate throughout the year with the Gospel of St. Mark, the Sundays after Easter are supplemented by passages from John's Gospel. Last week, Jesus told us, "I am the Good Shepherd." We, therefore, are the sheep. This week, Jesus tells us, "I am the true vine. My Father's the vine grower." And then again, "I am the vine, you are the branches." These great images that Jesus shared actually as part of the Last Supper discourse in John's Gospel, these great passages teach us a lot about how Jesus sees who he is and about how he relates to us and we relate to him. Lays this out for us, and they're really beautiful images when you think about it. He's the shepherd. You know, we're the sheep. He leads us. He guides us. He protects us. He takes us to places where we can eat well. Gosh, he brought you all here today so you could eat of his body and drink of his blood. He is that kind of a shepherd. And we also love that image of the shepherd going out and finding that one lost sheep, because at one time or another, we probably in our lives find ourselves like that lost one. And it's God who pursues us and comes after us. In this image today in the gospel, "I am the vine, you are the branches," he tells us that in order to bear fruit, in other words, in order to grow in the life of the soul, in order to grow in the life of God within us, it's necessary for us to be attached, connected to him. He's very straight about it in the reading. If you don't, if I don't, if we don't remain on the vine, he tells us what will happen to us. Basically, our spiritual life or our soul life will wither. For most of us, if we break off from that branch that is Christ, it's kind of slow, but it's like happens to a plant. You know, the leaves, they start wrinkling, closing up. Lack of nutrients, lack of water. They actually lose some of their color. If they had been bright, they're now pale. Eventually, they're going to wither, dry up, and fall off. Blossoms, if it's a flower, will lose their color. They'll lose their life, and they'll start changing, dying off, withering up too. Gosh, sounds sort of like us when we drift away, doesn't it? When we sort of allow ourselves to move off a little bit, or not pay as much attention to the connection, or not nourish and feed the connection that we have to the vine. They're great images. We need him. We need to be grafted onto Christ. We need to be connected to the vine. And if we are connected, he tells us also in this passage, what happens? You will bear much fruit. In other words, the fruits of a relationship with God, like our life of virtue, our growth in the ways of God, a thinking of God, the acting, all those things, the speaking like God would want us to speak, all those things are enhanced, but only if we're connected to him. the vine. We depend on him for our life, our strength, our hope. Our growth in Christ depends on our connection to the vine, who is Christ.